Welcome to Learn and Practice Video Tutorials. This is the fifth video in the database series. It covers advanced data types, the hyperlink, attachments, OLE object, lookup wizard, input masks and more on validation rules. And importing data. Disclaimer. This video is aimed at CAT learners who need to keep up with school work during COVID-19 crisis. It is not as polished as I would like it to be, nor is the sound great. Perhaps if it is found to be useful I will improve it in the future. Tips for using. Do it with the video, pause when you need to, slow it down or speed it up with the playback speed. See tips for using videos for lessons.mp4. Using rugby2.act that was used in the database forms video. Double-click rugby to open the table. We want to make some changes to the table structure, so click the design view. To add a record we add the name of the field. Type bio web page. Click data type. Click hyperlink. Hyperlink is a link that can be clicked and the web page opened. Click Save. Click Data Sheet View. Click Bio Web Page. Click and drag the border of the Bio Web Page heading to make the field wider. It is much easier to copy and paste a URL than type it out in full. Click the Google Chrome icon. I have already Googled and found some bio pages. You find some pages of your own. I will click Locanio AM. When you found your page, click and drag to select the URL. Right-click on the selected text. Click Copy. Click the Microsoft Access icon. Right-click in the Bio Web Page field of Locanio. Then click Paste. Click in the record below. Click the Google Chrome icon. Find your next web page. I have already done so. I will click on the Damien de Allende tab. Click and drag over the URL to select it. Right-click on the selected text. Click Copy. Click the Microsoft Access icon. Right-click. Click Paste. Click the next record. I am going to close the web pages. Creating a new tab to keep the browser open. Click on the URL. See the web page has opened. Click Design View. We going to look at another advanced data type. Click Field Name to add a new field. Type Player Stats. Click the down arrow. Click Attachment. Attachment is similar to the OLE object data type. It works like the email attachments. You can add image, document, video, or sound. The attachment data type replaces the OLE data type. It is more efficient than the OLE data type. Click Caption. Type Player Statistics. Click Data Sheet View. Right-click the attachment field for De Jager. Click Manage Attachments. Click Add. Find the dejagar.xlsx you downloaded. Click the file name, click Open. Click OK. Note the number has changed from 0 to 1. You can have multiple attachments in the same field. The next field will be a photo. But we will download one first. Click the Google Chrome icon. Click the plus button. Click URL box. If the correct suggestion comes up you can click it, or you can simply type it in. Click on the picture. Right-click on the picture. Click Save Image As. Select where you want the image saved. In this case I am going to save it in the download folder. Click the file name. Type Yadigar. Click Save. Click the access icon. Click Design View. Click at the bottom, in the next empty field name. Type Picture. Click Data Type. Click the down arrow button. Click Attachment. Click Caption. Type Photo. Click Data Sheet View. It reminds us we need to save. Click Yes. Click and drag the position indicator. Double-click Photo field. We going to add the photo. Click Add. Click the image file you have just downloaded. Left OK. Click the Table Close button. We want to see what happens if we view the new data in a form. You could edit an existing form, but we create a new one to remind us how to do it. Click the Create tab. Click Form Wizard. This is a security warning. Click Open. Click Add All. Click and drag to go up to the top. Click ID. Click Return One field. Click Next. Click Justified. Click Next. Change the name to include photo. I used the name Rugby with picture. Click Finish. Click Next Record. Click Next Record. Remember you can see the record change. See the Excel attachment? But the image is not displaying. That is because my file I downloaded was a JFIF. Access does not understand that file type. It needs to be one of these. So let's convert the image file to one that will work. Click Search. I use a free program called Ivron View. It is really good. I change the file type to PNG. So going back to the database, Rugby table. Double-click the photo field of Dejager. Click the file name, click Remove to delete the old file, then click Add. Click File Name. And then click Open. Click the Table X button to close it. Although creating a new form is not necessary, we can use the other form we have just created. I want to show you another way of creating a form. Click Form. This will create a form for the currently selected table, with all the fields. Click Next Record to get to the right record. Now we can see the image file. Remember that we can see the image because we changed the image type, not because we have created a new form. It will also display in the other form. Double-click the Excel file icon. The Microsoft Excel file is opened. You can close Excel. For our next field data type we need another table. We will use the Excel file RPB you hopefully downloaded. Click External Data. We are going to import the Excel file into a new table. Click New Data Source. Click From File. Click Browse. Navigate to the folder where the Excel file RPB is located. Click on the file name. Click Open. Make sure that you will import the date into a new table, click it if you have to. Then click OK. There is only one sheet in the file, with one column of data. Click Next. The first row of the spreadsheet column is the heading of the column, so click First row contains column headings. Click Next. Here you can set the type of your fields, but we only have one column and its text. So click Next. Remember that it is good practice to have a primary key for every table. We could make the positions a primary key, but it would be more efficient to allow Excel to use an auto number as a primary key. Efficient because if you misspell the word it could be problematic, but also a number is shorter than a position, so it is more efficient in storage space. Click Next. Type position list. Click Finish. Click Close. You can see both your tables. Double-click Rugby. Click Home. Click Design View. Click the data type for position. We can create a drop-down list for a field, using another table or query, or enter a list of values for the drop-down list. Drop-down lists allow for more accurate data, no words being spelled differently or incorrectly. Another tool for improving data validity. Click down arrow. Click Lookup Wizard. We going to use the values form the position list table. Click Next. Make sure position list has been selected. Click Next. Click Position. Click Select Record. Click Next. Click down arrow. Notice even though we only selected one field we have both, that is because Access will actually store the primary key in the field of the Rugby table, and link it to the position name in the position list table. Click Position. Click Next. Click Next. Data integrity means that Access will check the related data in the other table. You cannot add a position to Rugby table unless it is already in the position list table. If you select the Cascade Delete option, then if you delete a record in the position list table it will delete all the related records in the Rugby table. This one is dangerous. You can lose information. Click Enable Data Integrity. Click Restrict Delete so that you do not lose information. Click Finish. A relationship is the way the two tables relate, or are connected to one another. Click Yes. Click Data Sheet View. The information was lost in this column, as the position list's primary key is stored, although we will see the position. The position is called a foreign key, as it is the primary key in the other table. Click in Position. Click the down arrow. Click Full Back. OK, this is an example of valid data. But it is not correct. Please feel free to select outside center if you would like the information to be correct. Click the down arrow. Click left wing. OK, you could click inside center if you want your information to be correct and not just valid. Click the down arrow. Click outside center. Or the correct one is number 4 lock. We will not put all the position in now. Let's have a look at the relationship between the tables. Click Database Tools. Click Relationships. The relationship pane is a visual representation of the link between tables. This is called a one-to-many relationship. There is one of a kind in the position list table, and there could be many of that kind in the Rugby table. Each position in the position list table is different. But there could be many players in the Rugby table with that position. Especially if I added other teams. Click the X button to close. Let's look at another drop-down list. Click Design View. Click the drop-down arrow next to FanRatings data type. Click Lookup Wizard. Ensure that the I want to type option has been selected. Click Next. If an security message comes up, click OK. Type 1. Press down arrow. Type 2. Press down arrow. Type 3. Press down arrow. You can also click in the next row. Type 4. Press down arrow. Type 5. Press down arrow. Type 6. Type 7. Type 8. Press down arrow. Type 9. Press down arrow for the last time. Type 10. Click Next. Click Limit to List. Click Finish. Click Save. Click in the new record under Fan Rating. We do not really want to add a new record at this time, so to undo what we have just done we can press the Escape key. The next thing we will learn is input masks. An input mask is a control which limits the format, or helps to format the data. It can limit it to digits, or letters, it can make all the letters capitals, and it can limit how many characters there may be. A mask helps with getting valid data. It forces a user to enter in data in a certain format. It consists of placeholder characters such as 0 for a digit which must be entered, or a 9 for a digit that is optional. A little a can be a letter or a digit and it is optional. You do not have to memorize them as they are part of the offline help in Access. The mask characters are part of the formatting and do not get typed in by the user. They can be stored or there is an option of not storing them. So let's look at an example. A phone number has 3 optional digits shown with the placeholder 9. 7 non-optional digits, the placeholder 0. And the brackets space and the dash are mask characters. There are 3 parts to a mask. The first part is the mask itself, the second part which is optional indicates whether the mask characters should be stored or not. 1 means store, 0 means don't store. The third part specifies which character should be used as the placeholder when the user is typing. If this is not there then an underscore is used. The 3 parts are separated by a semicolon. Here the green blocks are the input mask, and the blue blocks are examples of valid data. This input mask will change the letters to uppercase. The first letter has to be there, and next 2 letters are optional. The first letter is capital and the next 3 are lowercase and they are optional. Let's go add an input mask into our rugby table. Click Design View. Click Data Type for weight. Click Input Mask in Properties. Type 990K. The 9s are for optional digits and the 0 is for a required digit. So the must be at least on digit and no more than 3 digits and the units kilogram will be seen. Click Save. Click Design View. Nothing looks different, let's add a new record. Click View in the new record row. Note the units display, there are underscores as user entry placeholders. Type 126. But we were just testing the input mask, so press the Escape key to get out of adding a new record. Let's go try another one. Click Design View. Click Birthday Data Type. Microsoft Access has same built-in input masks. Click Input Mask in Properties, Then click the three dots. If the security message appears, click Open. Click Yes. Click Medium Date. If you want to test it, you can type an example in the Try It field. Click Next. You can see the input mask. Here you can change it. You can also change the character used as a placeholder when the user enters the value, and there is a place to test your changes. When you happy, click Next. Click Finish. Click Hide. Click Mask. Or by typing in the help search bar. Type input masks. Click Get Help on input masks. Click and drag down. Click Characters that define input mask. Here you can see the placeholder characters and what they mean. You can click the X button when you are done with the help. But in a test or exam you may not use the internet. Therefore the placeholder characters are given to you as free information. Type 000 cm into the mask. What will this allow? Let's go test it and see if you are right. Click Design View. Click Hide. See the mask come into action? Press the Escape key to get out of adding a new record. Let's take another look at validation rules. To only allow dates that are greater than today, you use the formula for today's date, which is equals date open and closed bracket. So values greater than or equal to today are allowed. Example 2, numbers less than, or equal to 5. Values that cannot be negative must be, greater than, and equal to 0. For something there are multiple ways of doing things, for example to make sure the string has a length greater than 3 and less than 100. You could use a combination of field size equals 100, to deal with the less than 100. And a validation rule which uses a function for the length of a string, a field name, which is always in square brackets, and less than 100 to get a validation rule, equals len field product name is less than 100. Or you could use a mask. The ampersand character is for a letter, digit or space, and it is required, and the C is an optional letter, digit or space. But you would need 97 Cs. Here is a more complicated example. If you had two fields, a start date and an end date, you could test in the end date field's validation rule that the end date is greater than the start date. This is another complicated validation rule, to accept a well-formatted email address. It can be empty. Or it can have characters and @ sign but not square brackets, commas, semicolon or stars. The asterisk and question mark are wild cards. We will see more of them in the queries. Come back to this slide after you have done the query video. You need to do the tasks, and past paper questions. The more examples you can do, particularly of the masks and validation rule, the better, as each one will present a different problem. If you have found this video helpful, please like it and subscribe to my channel. Or leave a positive comment in Google Classroom, smiley face.